Hello everybody, so welcome to another Facebook Live from Karen and Nurture Parenting. So today's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to everybody, and I want to send out lots of love to all of you today, and I hope you've had a lovely Valentine's Day so far. So Karen today is wearing her rose quartz in celebration of Valentine's Day. I've got the rose quartz crystals out, so I'm going to out myself as a crazy crystal girl, but I'm infusing my Valentine's Day broadcast on Facebook Live today with lots of love and my rose quartz. So last week we did a competition to win some bebe, and the lucky winner was Beck Jane Campbell. So this is what Beck won. She won the bebe, which is B-A-B-E, and she won the Atopic skincare, and she won the shower gel as well. So Beck, lucky winner, and I know that these are going to be well used because her kids have got eczema. These are fabulous, got calendula in, which I absolutely adore for eczema. Those of you that have watched the last 2 weeks will know that I've got eczema myself. I trialled these out intensively before I put them in Nurture Parenting shop. So, lucky Jane, Beck Jane. So of course I've got a competition to give away in a moment, and this is a really fabulous prize as well. And because it's Valentine's Day, I feel like giving away a very special prize today. So to win the prize on Nurture Parenting's Facebook Live, you just have to like Nurture Parenting on Facebook and like this post. Share it with all your mothers group, share it with your friends, anybody who's got children up to the age of 5. I'll be answering questions each week on sleep, baby sleep, toddler sleep, on feeding, breastfeeding, formula feeding. I'll be talking about solids. I'll be talking about fussy feeding and toddlers, toddler behaviour, potty training, challenging behaviour in toddlers. Anything basically to do with parenting right up to the age of 5. So you can ask me, Karen, anything on a Tuesday afternoon. Now you'll be notified each week with a link. I've got a heap of questions come through, which is why I'm slightly late today, because a flurry of questions came in late and I had to write them down to make sure that I didn't miss them out. So this week's competition, are you all sat on the edge of your seats? I hope you are. I'm giving away a phone consultation and 2 email follow-up with myself, Karen. And you get to win a 1-hour phone consultation at the time of your choosing, and they're included 2 emails as follow-up. This is one of my services that I offer. It's a very popular option, and I know that not everybody can, access my services, so this is a really worthy prize. It's the value of $200 I'm giving away on Valentine's Day. So Karen's feeling very generous and giving lots of love out. Now, say if you win the prize and you haven't got a problem, you haven't got any questions that you need to ask me, you can donate it to a friend, to your sister-in-law, somebody in your mother's group who's struggling. Give the love out, pass it forward. I think that's a really good way of giving love out on Valentine's Day. So I'm very pleased to say that's what this week's competition is, to win a 1-hour phone consultation with me, Karen. If you haven't got a phone, because you live interstate or whatever, I'd do a Skype at the same thing. So either a Skype or a phone consult from Karen. And you get 28 years of my knowledge. You get 17 years of my baby sleep and toddler sleep work, so it is an absolute steal, a bargain. Okay. Now this week I was supposed to be writing the baby sleep book, which I am doing. I got approached by a major global publishing house to write this book, and we're still at the negotiation stage, so nothing's been signed yet, but it's all very exciting. Now, of course, the phone rings, and there was 3 things that I could not say no to this week. So my week of writing isn't quite my week of writing it should have been. So it will get finished, this book, by the end of February, but the phone calls that I took this week were situations that I could not allow to wait even a week or 2. So I'll let you know when this book is finally finished. Oh yes, my earrings hanging off. I had issues with the earring, Julie. I knew this would happen. So these earrings have a story. So I lost an identical pair at Manchester Airport when I was going through customs, and they made me remove all my jewellery. and I lost an earring and I was devastated. And I haven't quite recovered, and so I managed to find these on Etsy and I was thrilled. But I noticed today that one of them was not behaving itself, so thank you for letting me know. Yep, earring looks okay now, I think. Thumbs up. So if you feel like sending me lots of love hearts because it's Valentine's Day, send them my way, and I'm going to get straight into the questions. So I hope that you like the prize I'm giving away. I think it's a fabulous prize and it is an amazing value. $200 worth of prize. So I'm going to get straight into Michelle. Now Michelle Alifano with Charlie asked me a question last week which I didn't quite get round to because unfortunately some weeks there's so many questions come in, which is so exciting. So when can night feeds be stopped? Now, I know that Michelle's baby is over 6 months of age, and it's quite a very common question that I get asked about this night feeds business. So, as a midwife, I'm here to promote and support breastfeeding, but I'm also here to support mums and with their emotional and mental health too. So, bear that in mind. I know lots of mums over here don't have family, and there is no village to help them. So, I believe that from 6 months of age, a lot of babies do not need their night feeds. However, if the mum wants to breastfeed 10 times a night and she doesn't see it as being a problem, then I don't consider it a problem and I will not interfere or suggest anything. However, if you come to me and ask me, can I get rid of my night feeds, Karen, then I'll obviously look at your baby's age, I'll look at their development, I'll look at their centiles, where they are on the centile chart with like their weight, their head circumference, and their length, because it's important that we look at thriving babies and growth. And if a mum's had breastfeeding issues, breastfeeding challenges with supply, then I maybe don't have that same cut-off age that I would have for other people. So everything's very individual. So that's a very interesting question, Michelle. There isn't a straightforward answer because every case is different. Michelle says it's 8.8 kilos now. I think at 8.8 kilos now, Michelle, I think those feeds can go, love. I think you deserve a break. Her first child was really hard. So Charlie was really, really hard. So I think the feeds can go. Giving you permission, Michelle, to do some sleep training and get rid of those night feeds. Hope you like that. I think you will. So sometimes we keep on feeding, and mums keep on feeding because it's just a habit thing. And last week I did an overnight stay with a little baby called Penelope. And Penelope was about 7 months old. And she only woke up once in the night that needed actually resettling. Michelle, sounds good, Michelle, excellent. I like it too. So I think mums deserve good sleep because good sleep means more milk. Good sleep means a mum who's happy and is able to play with her child, meet her own needs, you know, do all the things that mums should be able to do. And I see many mums having 8 to 10 feeds and not really looking after themselves, or their mental health is not great. So I'm a big advocate for the mum. Now, obviously I'm an advocate for the baby as well, but the mum, to me, is paramount. So it is very individual, but Michelle's baby's 8.8 kilos. I think it's a good choice to get that away. So this little baby Penelope, 7 months old, was having about 4 feeds at night time, sometimes 3 feeds. And we managed to resettle her easily within about 5 to 10 minutes each time, and there was very little protest. And I spoke to mum today, and mum is happy to report that we're like 5 or 6 days down the line and baby Penelope has not woken up for any night feeds since I went round to help them. So I think that's absolutely fabulous. And like I say, most babies, it is a habit thing, and we just give the feed because we're scared of what might happen. We think we can do it quicker and get back to bed quicker. We're worried about waking up our other halves or siblings, etc. But often it's just a habit thing, and these babies are actually ready to do this. So if you need any help with that, just contact me and I can definitely help you with how to do this kindly and how to do it in a way that you don't get mastitis, etc, etc. So Michelle, hopefully that's helped. So next we're on to, I want to talk about a little visit I did this week with a little boy. I won't give his name because it's a very unusual name. He was a 2.5-year-old, and this little boy was having 3 bottles. One before bed of 130 mils, one and 2 more in the middle of the night of 130 mils. So he's having like 390 mils, nearly 400 mils. Should I just stop it together or cut down slowly? How many feeds are you doing, Michelle? You're doing 2, 1, If you're doing 2 feeds, you don't need to cut down slowly, just express off for comfort. If you're doing 2 feeds, just doing 1 feed, you just don't need to do anything with expressing. You can just stop completely. So I hope this answers your question, Michelle. Right, so this little boy, 2.5-year-old, having 3 bottles at bedtime, 400 mils at 2.5 years old. And the concern I had was not the actual feed that was replacing the solids and his food. It was the fact this little boy could not emotionally self-regulate. Now, he'd gone to daycare recently and he had not coped at all. And it was really, really sad. And when I took the bottle away at night time, because I felt that was the kindest thing to do, to help him with the middle of the night, he cried for 1 hour and 15 minutes, and it was heart-rending, and it was sobs, and it was like, I want my mommy, I want my daddy, I need my daddy. And there was tears, and it was just awful. So stopping night feeds early, before 1, is a great idea, because to get involved in that situation at 2.5, can I give this little boy good sleep for life and guarantee it? Not sure. If you do it before 1 and get kids sleeping through and self-settling, then they are able to self-regulate on the whole and then cope with life and daycare and school. This little boy, I'm not sure whether he's ever going to get great sleep. He might get good sleep, but will he get great sleep? The good thing was he had a younger sibling, 6 months old, and so I've got that little boy who is now just 6 months old, teaching mum how to get him to sleep through, so then we can help him with his emotions for life. So emotional self-regulation, massive issue, massive, 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 and is the crux of self-settling. It is a thing that is most important. Michelle says, I think we may need help with Charlie's sleep again too. Okay, Michelle, I'll be brave. I'll get the wand supercharged and get myself all pepped up and psyched up. And of course I'd help you, Michelle. Teresa, hello Teresa, so welcome. It's okay to be late. I was slightly late today because I was answering some messages. So sometimes life just happens and nothing quite falls to plan. All right, so those first 2 things. So Teresa, I'm coming to your question now. So you've just timed it right, Teresa. So she's got a little boy called George who's 15 months old. George has been waking up between 5 to 5:30 a.m. for the last week or so. His routine is completely out of whack as he's now going down for a nap in the morning, whereas before he'd have sleep after lunch. We were putting him to bed at 7 p.m. and he would be asleep by 7:30. We've changed his bedtime to 6:30, asleep by 7, but he still works up early. Please help. I don't want to be a grumpy parent any longer. Thank you, Teresa. And I'm sure no parent out there wants to be a grumpy parent, but when you get him woken up at 5 to 5:30, I would be a very grumpy parent too, so I don't do mornings at all. I don't consider anything before 6 o'clock to be morning. The parents that I help and I teach to resettle at 5 o'clock and 5:30, it pays off, Teresa. So in the short term, I want you to, there's 3 things that we're going to look at with your little man, Teresa. The first one is, which is a massive one, is making his bedroom extremely dark. So it's as dark as a cave. Now, I had this mummy that I was helping recently, and she'd gone away to the Blue Mountains at the weekend, and the hotel they were staying in had lovely lined curtains and heavy drapes. And for the first time, her little boy went to sleep so quickly, and he slept through past 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and she couldn't believe it. She was shocked. And again, yesterday I was doing a group, and this mummy was asking a question about early morning waking, and I said, how dark is your bedroom? She goes, interesting. So the weekend we actually put some heavy drapes up, and for the first time we got a lie-in. We got a long sleep in the morning, no 5 o'clock waking. So yay. So the secret is to have a very, very dark bedroom, because at 5 o'clock, melatonin, that neurotransmitter in your brain, which helps you get to sleep and stay asleep, is at its lowest. So if you have a bedroom that's letting light in and it's hitting the brain that's low in melatonin, then your child is going to wake up, and no matter how hard you try and resettle, it is working against light. So sometimes I go interstate and rural New South Wales, etc., and I stay in accommodation that sometimes doesn't have great lined curtains. My other half notoriously doesn't always book me the nicest place. Sometimes it can be the cheapest place, the most reasonable place. And sometimes these curtains are not very well lined, and I've had to do crazy things like put bin liners on windows with masking tape, because I obviously have to sleep in the day to cope with the next night. I've even had to put a scarf around my head so I could sleep. I've even had to put those little in-flight little masks over my eyes as well. So I'm very light sensitive, as a lot of children and babies are. So dark bedroom, really key for getting past that 5 o'clock. Now, block out blinds, grow blinds, all really helpful. Something else that I sometimes do is put tin foil on windows. If you live in rental, then you might not want to stick it to the window with water, and there's a video on YouTube about how to make your room dark. You might just want to put tin foil over the window with masking tape, or you might want to use those silver reflective things that go in the front of car windscreens in summer to make your room dark. There's many ways that you can make a dark room, but it needs to be so dark, Teresa, that you can't see your hand in front of your face. Really important. The kids with the dark bedrooms, they sleep till 7, even half 7 on a regular basis. So if it was me, as a parent in Australia, I would be making that room so dark, so essential. So if you can see your hand in front of your face, if you can see the outline of the room at 5 o'clock, 5:30, it is not dark enough. It should be so dark that you cannot see your child in the cot, you cannot see the cot, you can't see anything in that room. Really, really important. So, number 2 thing, Teresa, which I quite often talk about, I've talked about the last few weeks on Facebook Live, is tryptophan. So foods high in tryptophan: turkey, chicken, bananas, cheese, avocado, tofu, green leafy veg, etc., porridge oats, wheat bix. So having those foods and low GI carbs like pumpkin, sweet potato, wholemeal pasta, etc., all the wholemeal stuff, that will ninja getting past that 5 to 5, 5:30 waking as well. So very, very important. Now when I do a night shift, to get myself to sleep in the afternoon, what I often do is have a massive bowl of porridge. So I live off porridge. It is my staple diet. So it comes in and out the fridge sometimes, but I do gradually eat it in my day. But if you eat those foods high in tryptophan like porridge an hour before a nap is needed, or to help with bedtime as well, then it maximises your child's chance of getting to sleep and staying asleep. So in the day, snacks high in tryptophan, wholemeal toast, spread with avocado, peanut butter, Philadelphia cream cheese, etc., etc., bananas, etc., etc. So Julie will put the link up for the blog for the tryptophan thing, but so important. Just giving a banana or a banana dessert before bedtime can make the difference with that 5 to 5:30 waking, Teresa. And the third thing that I would do is, once you've mastered those 2 things, morning Jane, hope things are all well in your world, and I hope Cooper's doing well, says Archie. Okay, Teresa, so we'll have to block out our curtains, but I think the daylight still comes in over the top of them. Yeah, you might need to stick something to your window, Teresa. I find this light in Australia is so sneaky, it comes out over the curtain tops, it comes out from doorways. I've even had to, put things underneath doors, etc., etc. So you just need to look at where is the light coming from in the house at 5, 5:30. So crucial. So the third thing, Teresa, I would do once you've mastered those 2 things, which is the dark room and the diet, is I would resettle at 5 o'clock. So I wait for 3 minutes of constant crying, go in and sit by the cot, and I'd resettle with parental presence, because George is now 15 months old. I would never do a check-in routine, or what some people call control crying, where you go in and out the room. But I would never do that at 15 months. I would sit by the cot and resettle. And when you resettle, you need to resettle for at least half an hour to an hour. So you could be sat there till 6 o'clock. And once 6 o'clock comes, if he's not resettled, Teresa, just get him up and start your day. But it might take, with a 15-month-old, and you're not going to like this answer, but it might take up to a month to get the resettling to work. So within a week, you should see some change. Within 2 weeks, you should see big change. But toddlers take a month. Now, if you do resettling with a baby, it just takes about a week to 10 days to get kids resettled past that 5 o'clock. So the older a child is, the longer it takes to come good. So day 1's ordinary. Day 2's the same, slightly better. Day 3 or 4, things get worse before they get better. Don't give in. By a week to 10 days, it should be starting to improve, and by a month, you should know where you're at with that, Teresa. But do those 2 things first, and I think the resettling will work much, much better. Okay, so next question is for Linda. So Linda sent me this question in. I spoke to Linda on the phone this week, and she emailed me this morning. Now, at the moment, because I'm writing the book and I'm really, really busy, and my diary has just blown out, and it is a little bit scary because it makes me feel very uncomfortable, because then I can't get to people as quickly as what they needed. And as a result, I've booked 3 things in this week when I was supposed to be having a week of writing, because I just couldn't leave the situations that I came across. So Karen's heart is too big sometimes, and she doesn't always look after her interests or self-care. So Linda, so I spoke to Linda, and Linda's got a 3.5-month-old Matthew. Now things were really bad, and it's child number 2, and not settling in the day, not sleeping at all, not sleeping at night time, waking all the time. She was exhausted, absolutely exhausted. So I said to her, Linda, I'm not going to give you the phone call that answer that you thought you were going to get, and we're not going to put something in. I'm going to give you some homework. I'm going to give you something for free over the phone. I'm going to give you some free advice. Would you like it, Linda? And Linda said, yes, please. And I gave Linda 10 minutes of what she needs to do with her baby. I also said to her, buy my newborn book, Help I'm a New Mum, and I Don't Know What to Do. It's got everything in there for baby sleep under 4 months of age that you need to know to fix this. And she did. And out of that has come success. And Linda is very, very happy. And I'm very, very happy for Linda too. So she said, thought you'd be interested to hear how Matthew was going. So after getting off the phone to you on Sunday, I was a bit anxious as my parents live with us, and are totally against baby crying, which is quite a common problem. I just had to bite the bullet and go through with it, as I couldn't continue the way things were. I can say, in 36 hours, there is a massive improvement. Instead of sleeping on me like a koala, he has slept in his bassinet for 2 whole nights. 2 whole nights. First night he did his normal 3 feeds, and there were a few resettles which only took less than 10 minutes. Yesterday he actually did a 2-hour nap. A 2-hour nap. Exciting. There's a few resettles needed, but she got a 2-hour nap. And the settle to sleep time went from 38 minutes on the first night to the quickest one for a nap yesterday, 3 minutes. 3 minutes without Linda needing to help her baby. 3 minutes. 3 minutes settle. Wow, that's ninja level, Linda. That's impressive. Last night he only had 2 feeds and a quick resettle at 5 o'clock and up for the day at 6:30. I'm elated with the changes, and fingers crossed he will make it to settling off to sleep with no crying. Yes, he will do, Linda, very shortly. I'm forever grateful for your advice. You have saved my arms, my back and my sanity. How do I know? Right, this is the next question. So yeah, it changes things. Perfect, Teresa, no problem at all. Hello, Stephen, nice to see you. So I love that update, and I love hearing updates like this. It makes me so happy. I think it's lovely that I can give things for free, you know, because not everybody can, you know, be helped by me, because I don't have enough of me. I'd like to clone myself and put myself in the shop really, but I can't. But knowing that I can do these things over the phone, which is like massive, and a phone consult is much cheaper than me in person. I mean, obviously when things are really bad, you need me in person. When things are really bad at night, you need me at night. But I can turn things around in 1 night. It takes most baby whisperers 3 nights. I can do it in 1. So I try and keep my costs down to my clients. But just think, Linda got this with just a 10-minute phone call from me and buy my book, which was $7.99. Bargain, bargain, bargain. And I've got a very happy mum. So next question from Linda was, how do I know when Matthew wants to wake for the day? He's restless from between 5 to 6 a.m. and at 6:30 he wakes and cries. This morning cry was more a soft cry, but I wasn't sure whether to resettle or get him up. So I ended up getting him up because I thought he might not go back down because he didn't have his 3rd feed last night and might be hungry. Once I got him up, he did seem a little tired, still yawning. So most babies under 6 months need about 2 night feeds. Some need 3, but not much more than that. Unless, of course, you're having a big growth spurt, and that can totally blow things out. But most babies, when they're not having a growth spurt, just need about 2, maybe 3 feeds maximum. So how do you know when he's ready to start his day? So I would always wait and see. I would never jump on a crying baby. I would just wait and see. Are they having a little bit of a protest? Are they going to resettle? Because again, like I said before, 5:30, it's low melatonin. I would not get up before 6, so I'd resettle any waking before 6. And morning starts in my books between 6 and 7. If your baby hasn't woken up by 7, yes, you do have to start your day at 7. But I'm a big fan in, if you want to get a lie in, it is very, very possible. But then you need to do a lot more feeds in the day to make up for what you haven't done at night time. And by self-settling can actually teach babies to sleep through the night naturally. So it's not like Gina Ford or Tizzy Hall sort of stuff. It is not forcing a baby. It is a natural process. So self-settling, which is in my newborn book, it's all in there. And that's what can happen. And I just think, Linda, this is going to go from amazing to more amazing and super amazing. And I think you're going to get some sleep throughs with your little man. He's turned around quickly. At this sort of age, at 3.5 months of age, they are easy to turn around. After 4 months, it becomes hard. After 6 months, a lot harder. And at 7 to 8 months, boys are really quite tricky. So I'll be doing it early. So well done, Linda. Very, very proud of you. And you bit the bullet and you did it. And I knew I was giving you a big challenge. I knew it wasn't going to be little. Go you. So next I'm on to Shannon, 8-month-old little boy and day naps. Have I got Shannon out there with me today? Is Shannon there? Do you want to give me a thumbs up or a love heart, Shannon, if you are there? Do we have a Shannon? Or maybe Shannon's going to listen to this afterwards. No, I can't see Shannon. Nope. I can see Lauren. Hello, Lauren. Nice to see you. Hope you're having a lovely day. I can see Laura. Laura, hope you're having a lovely day. And I've got something that's coming your way, Laura, very soon. So I'm not going to tell you what it is and spoil the surprise. But a little treat is coming to your little house. Okay, right. Okay, Lauren. Lauren, if you just refresh, it'll work. Shannon's here. Shannon is here. Right, excellent. Right. Okay, Shannon. Hello. So she sent a lovely question in. She's booked a phone consult with me. So on the phone consult, Shannon, you're going to get a lot more than what you're going to get just now, but this will be enough to help you in the short term. I do have a specific question about daytime sleeps. My little boy is nearly 8 months and sleeps really well during the day, but terribly at night. He currently has 3 naps, one at 8 o'clock, one at 11 o'clock, and one at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Most days roughly an hour and a half each. And I was wondering if this is too much sleep at this age. I make sure he's up at 5 o'clock at the latest, but could it be impacting his night's sleep? Absolutely, Shannon. This is. So we need to move to just 2 naps a day. One in the morning, usually 3 hours after getting up. So say he's getting up at 6, your nap will be about 9, and give him no more than 1 hour and wake him up after that hour. It seems wrong. It isn't. You need him to have a long sleep in the afternoon. That's the one that helps you get to bedtime and not be stressed. So we need to do one in the afternoon for about 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours, and we're not going to give him that later one at 2 o'clock. So we need to move that 11 o'clock onwards. It could be that if he's waking up too early in the morning, that's why he's struggling with these day naps and starting at 8. But that first nap should be 3 hours after waking up. Yeah, and that last one should be about between 12, 1 o'clock and not after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So once it gets to 4, you've got to wake him. And I'd rather do an earlier bedtime than I would do a 3rd nap, and particularly 8 months of age. I'll be looking at food as well. So when I do the phone consult with you, we need to look at everything, Shannon, because this is not just a little question. It's actually quite a big question. But hopefully that's helped you to give you an idea of how your day should be structured. Okay, love. So we will chat soon. I've sent you an email today and give you some dates and times when we can do our phone consult together. So look forward to the chat, Shannon. So hopefully that has helped. Okay, who else have I got out here? So look at these questions and I'm going to come back to my little list. Okay, yeah. Teresa, yeah, okay. Who else have I got here? Nicola Pittner. Hello, Nicola. Welcome. So, Nicola, any guidance on when to expect bilingual baby boy Felix to speak? He's hitting all milestones, painting, clapping, waving, do lots of babbling, but no words. He's 12 months, and we do lots of... Just hang on. Can't see the end of that question. Don't know why I can't see the end of it. Hang on, just look at it on the computer. Sorry about that, Nicola. I'm just going to just look on my laptop and just see what it is, the rest of that question there, because I can't quite see the end of it. Okay, are you there, Nicola, at the moment as well? Just give me a wave and give me a love heart, give me a like if you are. Okay. Alrighty, so let's go to the post. Ooh, lots of questions here. Now I can't see Nicola's, the end of your comment, Nicola. Do you want to just just put in the end of it again for me? Or Julie, can you send me the end of Nicola's comment, because I can't see the end of it on the screen at all. I don't know why, but I'm just not seeing that today. So let's just go back to what you did ask me so far. Okay, right. Julie's going to find it for us. Right, so bilingual. So I'll be looking at when that one parent does one language and one parent does the other language. I'll be looking at when you read to him, pointing underneath words. I'll be looking at adding words onto words. For example, the sky is blue, the grass is green. I'll be talking about everything in your day. I'll be talking about everything you're doing in the house, when you're out and about. I'll be looking at nursery rhymes. I'd also be looking at things like sign language in the short term to help. That doesn't delay speech. But usually speech, 5 single words by about 18 months. So he's not behind Nicola in the slightest. 12 months of age and babbling, very, very normal. Sometimes single words at 12 months, and it can be like mama, dada, but you might not get much more than that. And boys tend to speak later than what little girls do. So I hope that's helped Nicola, and we'll find the end of the question in case there's something else on there. Now I've got a question for, let's just come to that. Right, Reva. Hello, Reva, with twins. So well done on making it, and you've got twins. I hope things are going well. Luca and Xavier are now 6 months, correcting their night sleeps, have regressed with Leap 5. No! Sleeping well and can self-settle in the day, but 2 hour wake-ups at night. Okay, let's look at that. Stuck in the feed to sleep pattern. Okay, so Reva, I think we need to chat on the phone, and I think I need to go through what you need to do with this. We might do one child at a time, because it might be too hard to do both together, or start at the weekend and you and your husband do tag team. But I think at this age now, at 6 months, I guess they're on full solids, Reva, and they're on protein and carbs and everything. Just give me a thumbs up, or just send me a little comment if they are. Yep, excellent. So once they're on a decent amount of food and they're on 3 meals a day, happy Valentine's Day to you, Renee Elizabeth. Right, I'm going to come to your question in a moment, Renee. So I would be having a little chat with me, and I'll just go through what you need to do, because your boys are a lot older than when I came to see you. And I think within 2 nights, I think you can have 2 very different little babies. I know that Luca was easier than Xavier. But I think at 6 months, I think it's time, and you've got twins, and I think you deserve to have peace at night. Okay, Reva, so I hope that's helped. So either you call me or I will call you, and we'll tee up a time to chat through this. Right, so the next question from Renee Elizabeth. Yeah, okay. My question is about behaviour rather than sleep. My 15-month-old is hitting mostly mum, dad and twin sister. No! Smack in the face. He does it when he's happy and excited rather than tired, upset, tantruming. He bites as well, but it seems to have passed mostly. Any tips? Okay, Renee Elizabeth. So, boys often act out more than what girls do, but that's not saying that girls don't. My niece did. Okay, so any child is likely to do this. It's part of emotional physical regulation. It's just that the self-regulation, they're going through big emotional changes, and he's testing boundaries as well. But you're absolutely right. He cannot get away with this and have it allowed to continue. Things like saying to him, and paying attention to the injured party, which is his sibling, saying, look at your little sibling. She looks really sad. How would you feel if you were hit like that? Would you feel really sad too? So just making him try and empathise with her, okay? Using the stop word, so saying to him, I'd like you to stop doing that, please. Stop hitting, and I'd like you to stroke her nicely instead, and model what good behaviour looks like. So it's what needs to stop and what needs to start instead. Because too often we say, no, or stop, and then the child thinks, well, no, what else do I do? And no imprints the behaviour as well. So saying, I'd like you to stop doing that and do this instead. For example, if they're shouting, I'd like you to stop shouting, please, and talk in your nice, quiet voice instead. So I hope that's helped you, Renee, but it is a really common issue. Also, as well, you can take him away from the action and sit him down on the side of the couch by the side of you, doing quiet time, and he has to sit there quietly for 2 minutes. So if he's not quiet, he sits there for a little bit longer. If you're having trouble with him keeping still, sit him on your knee and just give him a big bear hug to keep him still. And if he's having a tantrum, let the tantrum happen, let it evolve, let that emotion out. Now, it's really important at this sort of age onwards that we start talking about emotions to children. There's a great author called Trace Moroney, and she's got some books about emotions, about anger, about happy, about sad, about lots of different things. There's also a great book called My Big Shouting Day by it was Catherine Patterson, Rebecca Patterson, and the Aaron Blaby books for older children do some great emotion stuff. So I use books a lot to convey emotions and feelings. I think they're really, really important. So I'd look at Trace Moroney. Her books are really simple, they're not big messages in them, but I would just pay attention to the hurt party and make a big fuss of the hurt party. I would try and ignore the situation if it's not a dangerous situation, but if it's dangerous, you need to say, I'd like you to stop doing that and do this instead. And the first bit of good behaviour you see, you do labelled praise for. And labelled praise is like saying, well done, I'm not sure what his name is, well done Lucas, for playing nicely with your sister and being gentle with her. So we talk about being rough and being gentle. When you're rough with your sister, it makes her sad. See, she's sad. How would you feel if your sister was rough with you and she did this with you? You'd feel sad. And you can demonstrate what sad looks like, and look at her face, she looks sad. So talk about rough and talk about gentle. Okay, that's really important. I'd rather not talk about good and bad, because then it polarizes and it gives a negative to the child. And once you say to your child you're bad and you're naughty, then that child thinks they are bad and they're naughty, and they're more likely to act out. And I'm sure you wouldn't do that, Renee, anyway. But just talking about being gentle versus we don't do rough behaviour in this house, and that sort of thing will really, really help. So rather than giving labels and giving a badge of good or bad behaviour, talk about gentle versus kind versus rough. Yeah. And I hope that helped you, Renee. But there's a heap of information on my blog about how to manage bad behaviour, how to manage emotions, how to, and again, probably I shouldn't say bad behaviour in the blog, I should say how to manage ungentle behaviour or rough behaviour. But anyway, those words do come to mind straight away, and it's just how we're programmed. So I hope that's helped you, Renee Elizabeth. So anybody else got anything else before I go back to the list that's been sent in to me? Let's have a little look through here. So there's a lot of you come today, so welcome to everybody. And I know that your time is very, very, very valuable, so hopefully you're really enjoying today and getting a lot from it. And it's not just about sleep. So Helen's here. Hello, Helen. Not sure if you can help with this, but let's have a look and see what came through from Helen there. Okay. Help with this, but I'm trying to get my 2.5-year-old to stop sucking her thumb. She does it all day, not just at sleep time. Any tips? Yes, there is a product called Stop and Grow that you can buy from the pharmacy, and you can use that on their thumbs, and it's fine to use after the age of 2. It tastes very, very bitter. I talked about this last week actually, so there is a section on last week's Facebook Live about thumb sucking and how to stop it. So my own father had used English mustard. I don't really advise that, but it worked. So wasabi, whether that's a nice thing to do or whether the Stop and Grow is nicer. There's probably some herbal stuff out there that you can use on thumbs to stop it, and again, reward with labelled praise when she doesn't do it. Okay, so talk to, say, Olivia, well done on not sucking your thumb. That's excellent work, Olivia. That sort of thing is labelled praise. Okay, so doing that heaps. So once you want something to change, do labelled praise a lot to get that thing to change. Alrighty, so let's go back to the little list of questions that came in today. So Catherine came to see my little talk yesterday. So hello, Catherine. Are you there today? If you are, give me a love heart or a thumbs up. Give me a like. Nope, not sure if she's there. Anyway, I did a talk yesterday to 7 mummies with 7 babies and 1 daddy over in Camperdown. And I'm available to do talks. If your mother's group needs a talk, more than happy to come and do talks for people, and they are not all that pricey, so it's worth investigating. If you've got, say, if you wanted a toddler talk on toddler behaviour, or you wanted a baby sleep talk to prevent that 4-month sleep regression. They're all things that I do, and they are come at a very reasonable cost, and I travel to your venue and we spend about an hour and a half, and we can also do a baby massage as well if that's something that you wanted. So Catherine and Max. Max is 4 months old, so Catherine came yesterday, as I said. She rushed home to try the rules that I taught her on how to settle Max, and he didn't do all that great. He cried hysterically every time I put him down after 30 seconds. Yep, and basically she gave in because Max was too hard. And I think it is really hard doing settling with a 4-month-plus boy, and they're probably the more challenging cases. So it might be, Catherine, that you need help to do this. He might not be an easy one that you can just go home and do this with the things that I've taught you. It's taken me 17 years to learn all this stuff. So it's about reading the cry. It's about when you pick them up, when you don't pick them up. So it might have been that you got your timing wrong. It might be just that Max is a really hard case and that we need to look at a different way to approach this. So this might not be as simple as me giving you the instructions and doing it. However, I did have a little girl once who took 4 days before she agreed to do a daytime nap. So I do get girls that are hard too. So it's worth carrying on. I know it was probably very, very hard, but you know, it will pay off. But I'll let you decide whether you carry on yourself or whether you get me to help you. So how long each settling session should we continue crying? Trying. I'd love him to let himself settle, especially if he starts daycare. But I feel pushing the hysteria beyond 40 minutes means he won't nap at all. I totally agree. A 4-month-old baby, I only settle for 40 minutes. After that, I get them up, take them out in the lounge room. If they're not due a feed, go back to do some floor time, some nice little gentle play time with them just to reset things. Then when they're looking tired, take them back in again. Because babies can't put the white flag up and go, I give up, okay? But it's about how you do the settling, as I taught you yesterday, Catherine. It's about doing cuddles when you need to and helping them. Now, baby massage does massive things for settling, and it is worth getting my baby massage book. It's on iBooks and it's in the shop at $9.99. When I do a home visit, I do baby massage, and baby massage is a game changer. And when I do this, the babies go down really, really easily, because what baby massage does is it lowers cortisol, that stress hormone. So baby massage would be a great thing to do with your little boy. I'd even do it twice a day just to get him on the page with you and more likely to help you and help him to settle. Is a 3-minute rule for the waiting just for the first time you put them down? No, it isn't. So 3 minutes of constant crying when you come to a resettle, important, okay? No more, no less, just 3 minutes of constant crying. So I use that for resettling too. Is it okay for him to see me while I'm sitting by the cot with my hands on him? Absolutely. So you can either have your eyes open or your eyes semi-closed or your eyes closed, but he needs to see your face. Very, very important. This is about bonding and attachment. So any methods that say that the mum's face should be hidden are wrong, wrong, wrong on so many levels. Babies should always see their parents' face when they are being settled, and it's something that I encourage and I do. So yes, great question, Catherine. Is 4 months and not on solids too early to start this kind of training? Now, it depends on the amount of feeding and what their weight gain is like as well. So, is their weight doing okay or not okay? Okay, so if they're thriving, if they're okay in their centiles, that is something that's really, really important, and something that I didn't go into in any depth yesterday. But you need to check that out. So get a weight done, get a head circumference done, look at where your child was in the centiles previously in the blue book. And there's an app on the iPhone called Growth. It's a great app, and I use that. It's got World Health Organization charts, and so I use that a lot when I'm doing a phone consult or a Skype consult when I can't actually see that baby. So I would be looking at the weight before you start even doing this, Catherine. Because if you've got a hungry baby, no matter how good the sleep training is, that child is not going to settle. So that'd be the first thing that I would be looking at. So check that out and just let me know how that is. If the child is below the centiles from discharge weight, then get back to me on that. And maybe even come and see me at the pharmacy in Bondi tomorrow. Okay, but no, it is not too early. This sort of, you can actually help babies with their sleep right from 2 to 3 weeks of age, as long as they're thriving, that feeding is going well, breastfeeding, if your breastfeeding is established, you can do this early. It's just that in Australia we don't know about this. And so people talk about don't sleep train until 6 months because people don't know how to do it over here. It's how you do it. It is not the age. It is much easier to do when they're younger. And when I see a 2 or 3 month old baby, if I see a 6-week-old baby, I think that's a gift because it's going to be so easy in comparison to what I do at 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And I think the less distress we can cause to children, then the less distress we're causing to parents as well. So if anything, I'm a fan of doing things even at 6 weeks old, even before if the parent needs it. So it is okay, it's how you do it. It is not controlled crying, you're in the room with them, you cuddles, etc., you're helping them. So that is important. Okay, what else have I got? Aha, yes, I had a really interesting one this week. I had this little boy that's on my blogs. He was a little boy who was 2 or 3 at the time. And he was only eating chocolate, white bread and milk. So a bit of a disaster, and we got him eating proper food within 2 weeks. Now they've just come back from overseas to live. And this little boy, Oliver, has a little habit of derailing. He's actually on my testimonials. And Mum rung me when I was on the way to the hairdressers in the Uber car that I hadn't got a clue where it was going to. So I was in the middle of a mum crisis with a child, with a 6-year-old, and the Uber driver hadn't a clue where she was going. So I just ignored the Uber driver. That was not my problem. My problem was the mum and the child. So I just said to the mum, you just need to do 3 things only. To do labelled praise, to do logical consequences. So don't use time out at this age, it's not going to work. She'd been removing the skateboard for a whole day. You can't do that. You need to remove the skateboard for half an hour or an hour because a day is a long time in the world of a 6-year-old. So logical consequences, really important, and I think that should be the blog that I write this week, hopefully. The child's game, really, it's like the glue that sticks all this together. So I just gave her 3 bits of homework. That's all she had to do, and stick to a routine. And within a day, she had peace and bliss in her life again. So it can be turned around that quickly. So sometimes things look as though they're terrible. These kids don't cope with changes in routine, changes in environment. And this little boy, Oliver, is known to flick his switch at the slightest little change. But we've got him back on track, and I'm so happy for Lisa, and well done. So that is the end of my Facebook Live today. Have I got anything that I haven't answered out there at all? Was there anything really, any burning questions? I think that might be it by the look of things. I can't see anything else there. Okay. All right, so before you go, make sure that you like this post on Facebook. Make sure that you like Nurture Parenting on Facebook. And then you'll be notified of my Facebook Lives. You'll then be entered into the prize draw. And don't forget, this week's prize draw is a super one. And where you get to win a phone consultation with. So $200 worth of prize, and I have to go now because I've just got a wet cat coming in the house. It looks like he got drenched, the poor little boy. And all my best for all of you out there and your babies and sleeping. So gotta go, got a wet cat. I'm going to talk to Laura herself on the phone in a moment because I must sort the boy out. He's very, very wet. Talk to you soon, Laura. Bye.